Welcome to the Impact Maker's Journey from Passion to Profits, the podcast showcasing heart centered coaches, experts, and energy healers who are on a mission to change lives and create meaningful success doing what they love. I'm your host, Wendy Vaughn, business success coach and founder of Impact Maker Coaching. And I've got to be honest, the path from passion to profits is rarely easy, but it's always filled with growth, clarity, and surprising rewards. Now, each week I sit down with inspiring impact makers who have turned their knowledge and wisdom into thriving businesses that are making a meaningful difference for others. I will explore their personal and professional journeys, how they found their calling, and how they continue to stay aligned with their passion along the way. So if you're here to expand your vision about what's possible for yourself, you're in the right place. So join me as we discover the positive ripple effects created by today's guest. Hi there. I have as my guest today, Giselle Toner. Now, Giselle is a certified equine assisted coach, strategic intervention life coach, and yoga instructor. So welcome, Giselle. I am so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you, Wendy, and thank you for having me because I think this is going to be extremely very informative for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to just learn more about this work you're doing. And, you know, it seems like every heart-centered coach and energy healer goes through their own journey, whether that's just a business development journey or it's also combined with a personal development journey, all with that vision of really making that meaningful difference for others. And for me, I believe that that vision and dedication ultimately has the ripple effects of making a positive impact for our entire world. So I really appreciate and honor you for taking the courageous first steps to start your own business. So I can't wait to hear more about your journey from passion to profits, because for everyone it's unique, and but for most it's not easy. So I'm excited to just discover more about you, Giselle, and the important work you're doing. So
Yeah.
first off, when did you become a professional coach?
I think that it was kind of it was like an evolution for me. I didn't really one day wake up and say, I think I'm going to be a coach. It really actually, it actually just evolved, to be honest with you, because I have been one of those people that I've always been a creative person. I've always been a little entrepreneurial, even as a
Ah,
child.
okay.
And I always had my hand in like, little things that I could create and make. But when it comes to coaching, that was quite maybe like a little bit of an accident. Okay.
Okay.
I was I was as a young girl, I had many things that were drawing me into certain avenues that I was going into.
Okay.
But I became a yoga
Like
teacher as a
your
young
career
girl.
path, that kind of thing, of
Yeah.
what to do when you
Yeah.
grow up, Giselle, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it all actually it just all started because of my own childhood that was really painful. And
Hmm.
I knew that I had to change things.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, having that, just knowing what you don't want is a catalyst, and that can be a powerful launch pad. So
Exactly.
who is it that you serve, Giselle?
I actually work mainly with women, but there are men also. I find that I am drawing more women to me that are through life transitions. So basically, women that are either in bad relationships or they have come to a point in their lives where they realize that they've given so much, but nothing has ever felt good for them. So they've basically been givers and they feel depleted right now in their lives. And also women that are at that place where even physically they feel terrible. They are maybe overweight. They haven't really been taking care of themselves physically. I work with men also in a capacity where they might have been through their own horrible relationships. And I find that it's a little bit more like what I'm doing, what I'm drawing, and I don't even know exactly why. It seems to be more in the relationship kind of a sphere. More
Yeah.
than like people that want to start a business. It's more like people that are in pain and they want to get out of pain and they don't know how. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, that, and I can really see the cross relation between, that physical well-being with the inner and the emotional well-being, because it's really connected, right? How we feel is how we uh, start expressing things through aches and pains, and I believe
Yeah,
that anyway. They're very closely related. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
so, so in terms of, obviously, like I said, it really takes a lot of courage and tenacity, and even I would say a certain agility to turn those skills and knowledge and wisdom that you've gained through the years, obviously since very early in your life, into a professional service as well as a business. So, can you tell me a little bit about your journey to
Yes.
be this type of an entrepreneur? You said you were entrepreneurial very early in
Hmm.
life, and I love
Hmm.
that because that makes
Yes.
for um, more of that expectation of this isn't exactly just out of the box and one path.
Right.
It can
Right.
be more complex than that. So, can you just
Absolutely.
share a little bit about your journey as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, how it started, and I think it's important to talk about how this actually started. I was, like I said, I had a childhood that wasn't great, and I had a lot of pain and a lot of abusive stuff going on in my life. And so I naturally was drawn to things that were going to make me feel good. So I was drawn to, um, I don't even know how I got drawn to yoga, but yoga was something that was there as a young girl, and it wasn't very popular at that point. But I found a book in the library and I started reading about it, and I started to really identify with it, and I loved it. And so through the years, I became more and more immersed in yoga. So yoga was something that took me to a place of solid footing. And basically, it made me feel good because I was centered and grounded. And I really just found that to be something that I could go to whenever I was feeling emotionally out of sorts. Okay. And even, especially physically too, because of course, yoga is the physical postures. But also, in addition to yoga, I found horses because horses were something for me. It was a comfort. Horses didn't judge me.
Mm,
Horses were these beautiful furry animals that I connected with on a very, very deep level. So I became a very avid horsewoman and I was teaching yoga. And then I found that through my yoga practice, I was teaching classes and I was getting women that were coming to me. And women that were coming to me a lot of times were coming to me for physical strength and flexibility and balance.
sure.
However,
Yoga.
I was finding that when they were coming to me, a lot of times, because I was doing private one-on-ones, they would start talking about their lives and their lives were not happy. And so they wanted to talk about things. And I found myself coaching them, not even really being like a certified coach. So I
Right.
found myself
But still,
talking to
you
these
had
women.
life wisdom, you have perspectives, you have valuable insights. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and that
So,
compassion.
right, exactly. So that is where all this started. That is how I got into the coaching aspect. So I went and I actually got my education and I got my certifications in coaching and I started working with women as a life
Interesting.
coach.
Interesting.
But
Right. It
then
just kind
it,
of evolved out of
yeah,
that space of helping people or being that yoga
yeah,
instructor
right,
and
yeah.
building that high trust relationship to where women felt, boy, by the way, this is going on, and you had the insights to really support them. So, yeah, I love
Exactly.
the evolution.
Absolutely. And then it got even better because I have horses and
Mm,
I knew that horses, what they did for me. And I started using my horses
mm,
with my clients.
mm,
So now I combine the yoga and the equine assisted coaching, and I combine them both together for my clients. And I'm telling you, the things that I'm seeing are just wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
wow.
I just cannot believe the way women and men, because I've got men also, but how it actually changes their whole perspective on themselves because horses are mirrors. They will show you who you
Hmm,
truly are.
really? Wow. I had no idea.
It's amazing. The horses are extremely highly evolved and highly sensitive animals, and they actually will give you a glimpse into who you truly are. And that's a whole other psychology that I could talk about for hours, but I won't go too far into that. Just
Wow.
suffice it to know that if you ever wanted to do a search with horses in therapy, it is huge right now. There are horses being used in therapy and coaching so much more now than ever because it is so effective. It's really amazing.
Well, yeah, just not to mention the fact that it's just so incredible to be with these massive gentle giants, but the level that you're sharing with me in terms of their sensitivity and almost mirroring
Yes.
what a person might not even realize is going on for them,
Hmm.
to allow for that transformation is just it's amazing. It's profound,
It
and
is.
obviously it's a lot of fun
It
to work
is.
with
Oh,
horses.
it's
You were on that
wonderful.
quest for joy early on in your life, and I
Yeah.
love how you're continuing to build in the things for you that
Yeah.
bring you that sense of joy as well.
Hmm.
So, and I can only
Exactly.
imagine what it must feel like to witness the transformation that occurs with the support of the horse and
Hmm.
obviously your guidance. But can you maybe share with us, a story of maybe a client's transformation without disclosing any names, of course, but just
Oh, yeah.
something so we have a little clearer picture on the work that you do?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have so many different stories that I could tell you, but I'll pick one of them that was not with the horses, and then another one that was with the horses, and I won't make
Okay.
it too long. But one of the ones that was prior to my working with horses was a woman who walked into my yoga class one time, and I saw her walking in, and she had a look on her face that she just didn't look happy, but she was there and I was happy that she was there.
Yeah.
So she started doing some yoga with me and I could tell that she was very out of shape, but she was trying so hard. And after a while, she continued with me, but she took me aside one day and said, I need to talk to you because I need help. And I said, what is it? She said, I'm really having a tough time with life. She said, and I know that you're a coach also. She said, can we work together? I said, absolutely. So what was happening with her, Wendy, was that she had a really bad opinion of herself. And she didn't think that she was attractive and she didn't think that she was worthy. And she found herself being drawn to men that were abusing her. And she just kept trying harder and harder and harder with them. Well, I was working with her for quite a while. I was taking her through not only the yoga practice, but also I was coaching her on a life coaching basis. What happened eventually with her was she started to gain her power. And when she gained her own power, she started to see the fact that she was really giving away everything. And she wasn't really valuing who she was. And she was basically letting people walk all over her.
Sure.
Not only did she change her whole perspective about the men that were abusing her, but she actually became a yoga teacher. So she went from at the bottom of the barrel to
Wow.
this powerful woman that now is coaching other women. So I'm
That
so
is
proud
awesome.
of,
This kind of
oh,
gives me chills.
yes, I'm
Yeah.
so proud of her because she went from this scared little girl that walked into my class with this terrible look on her face to this wonderful, powerful woman that is really making a difference. And she has a wonderful man in her life right now. Wonderful. So she
Wow.
learned
That's
how to
remarkable. That is
value.
huge.
She had to value herself. Yeah. And then
Mhm.
one instance with a horse, with my horses, I was working with a woman who was an older woman, not that, not that I'm young, but, a little bit more up in years. And her whole life was unfortunately giving and giving and giving to her children.
Mm.
And she found herself again at the bottom of the barrel, an
Right.
older woman now by herself. Her children were gone, and she felt so alone and so rejected.
Right. Right.
So, as I took her around the horses, she started to notice that when she got near them, they weren't coming close to her.
Mm.
They were kind of like standoffish.
Mm.
And it was all because of her own self-esteem issue.
Mm.
She came off with a kind of like not mean at all, but kind
Huh.
of like a little bit of a chip on her shoulder, like my kids don't love me and blah blah
I've done
blah.
all this and,
And I'm a little angry now. And the horses
mhm.
were like, okay.
Mm.
And she was like, why are they not coming to me? And I said, I don't know. I said, let's figure that out. So she thought about it. And after a couple of more times of her being with me and with the horses, eventually she started to see where her own personality traits had to change a little bit. She had to start valuing herself more, not worrying about her children taking off. She needed to love herself
Mhm.
and value herself. And I am telling you, Wendy, when she started taking on that kind of personality, my horses were right there, right
Wow.
there. And I mean, like their nose over the fence, wanting to be petted by her.
Wow.
It was such a transformation for
Yeah.
her to see, the
Right.
mirror
And
image.
to witness that validation of that has occurred, that
Yes,
it's not just simply an affirmation or a temporary mindset shift. It
right.
was a deep, transformation that she owned. So that's what I'm
Yes,
hearing as well. Yeah, I love
yes.
that. So powerful,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
powerful. Well,
yeah.
Giselle, so if you could share a little bit of your wisdom here, what is your recommendation for someone who is feeling lost, who's feeling in pain and maybe a little out of control? What's the best way for
Yeah.
them to get some, quick shift or quick relief?
Well, my first recommendation would be if it is really serious and if they are having any kind of really bad thoughts that they need to contact a professional immediately. I mean, a real professional. I mean, like sometimes calling 911 if it is that bad. I mean, I've had people that were having really bad thoughts and close to suicide, and I would recommend immediately call 911 or professional or your doctor or someone that can be there immediately for you. If it's not at that level and you're just feeling out of sorts and not happy and depressed and rejected, I would say getting yourself to a place of clarity is the first step. Okay. Clarity means being able to sort out some of these thoughts because unfortunately, when we get that to that place, we lose the ability to think clearly. So you need to have clarity, which basically means getting rid of a lot of the thoughts. And the only way to do that sometimes is to get very quiet and settled and basically just do some breathing so that you can calm yourself down. So your mind, your body, and your breath are all connected. When
Mm.
you start learning how to control your breathing, your breath controls your mind, and your mind controls your body.
Mm.
So, deep breathing and just getting quiet for a few moments will really help to settle you so that you can think clearly to take your next best steps.
Mhm.
So, that would be my first recommendation. Then, of course, there's much more to it. You need to find someone that can coach you, or even just do something that's fun. Go out there and do something that you love. It could be watching a comedy, or it could be really going into deep coaching with a qualified coach.
Yeah,
So
because
there's many,
sometimes
many
in
different.
those situations, if there is that lack of self-worth or self-deservedness, doing something fun
Mhm.
is not, is given permission to, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
really having that outside support like yourself
Mhm.
is sometimes the only way to shift out of that state because it truly
Right.
is a vicious cycle.
Exactly. So that's why I say if someone is in that place right now, they need to do an immediate kind of like shift. And that is breathe, focus on your breath, long inhales, long exhales. I actually teach deep breathing exercises. I teach pranayama, which is part of yoga. And there's one that's very effective. It's very easy, in through the nose, out through the nose, very deep breaths, long exhales. The exhales are longer than the inhales. All these things can be found also on my websites and stuff like that. But, just for the sake of someone to be able to get relief immediately,
Yeah.
just some deep breathing, clear your mind, shut off the TV, shut off the phones, just sit quietly for a few moments and get your thoughts together and get some clarity. And then you can take your next steps. Your next steps are important. Yeah,
Yeah. No,
positive
it's,
steps.
yeah, very valuable insights because I
Mhm.
hadn't really even thought about the connection between breath and brain and how once you have that oxygenation going and are able to
Yeah.
then really calm down, it really supports that ability to get clear.
Absolutely. It
Start
is
that.
major. It's a very, very major step. And I mean, it is very powerful.
Yeah,
Very
well,
powerful.
that's thank you for sharing that. I'm sure that right there has
Yeah.
helped so many people in those moments of whatever this represents. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. And
Yeah.
that's it's really, as I mentioned earlier, the ripple effect, right?
Mhm.
That somebody like you, Giselle, is creating.
Mhm.
I believe that helping people to achieve those new levels of peace and empowerment and control over their life, as well as happiness, joy, and even new levels of financial success, really do create that significant, infinite ripple effect. And
Yes.
one of my mentors early in my career was Mark Victor Hansen,
Mhm.
Chicken Soup co-author, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the things he taught me was, Wendy, you need to have a big, big, hairy, audacious goal, something that fuels your passion and helps you to get over yourself, to overcome barriers, to be, more about something bigger, a bigger cause. So for me, my hairy, audacious goal is as a business coach to empower 1,000 coaches and healers just like yourself to build those thriving businesses that allow people to make their biggest impact. Because, like I said, you know, it's a ripple effect, really, that does elevate, I feel, consciousness within
Yeah.
humanity and makes the world a better place. So to put you on the spot, Giselle, do you have a big audacious goal or vision for
Oh,
yourself
yes.
or your business? I would love to
Absolutely.
hear. I would love to
Okay.
hear.
So I've been very grounded and very centered and very earthy and into my horses and into my yoga for a very long time. However, lately, with the onset of all of the AI amazing stuff that's happening right now, I do
Right.
have a very, very, very big project that's going on and a very big goal. And I've already started it and it's already wonderful. But my goal is to get it out there more and more with people that can use it. So basically, I've developed a clone of me with
Okay.
with all of my 35 plus years of knowledge, my courses, my coaching, all the things that I've got that are in my little toolbox, which is a big toolbox at this point.
Yes.
And I
35
want
years.
to be,
Did you hear that, everyone? 35 years of
yeah, yeah.
coaching.
It's actually more than that. And I hate to say it because it'll tell you how old I am for goodness sakes. But anyway, I have so much that I have developed through the years, and I wanted to be able to put it all into a place where if someone needs it, they can get it. So enter my clone. I have a clone of me that is available, and she right now has so much in her brain.
Wow.
She shocks me because I
Wow.
consult with her. Yeah, it's really amazing.
That
So
is
now
so cool.
I've gotten to this other level where it's me on steroids, and I absolutely love it. And I've already had a couple of my clients that are working with her right now. It's phenomenal.
So it's basically Giselle on demand.
Yes. Anytime, 24/7.
Anytime.
If you have a bad night and you can't sleep and you've got a problem,
Take a
You
deep
can,
breath and go to Giselle clone,
that's
Giselle
exactly right.
AI.
That's exactly what it is. Absolutely.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
It
Technology
is.
is a wonderful thing when we can harness it, use it, utilize it in a way that is of service in the right
Yes.
kinds of ways. So, that's
That's right.
powerful. I'm
That's
super
right.
excited for you,
Yeah.
Giselle.
Thank
Talk about a
you.
ripple effect.
Yes.
There we
Yeah. Yeah.
go. Now, I
Mhm.
believe you have recently written a book. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Well, actually, I have it's an ebook that I wrote a long time ago, but
Okay.
it's been around for 15 or plus years.
Oh, okay.
It has been out there for a long time, and thousands of people have downloaded it, and I'm very excited that I could still put it out there for free for people that want it. And it's
Okay.
just basically, it's called the Yoga Three-Step Blueprint. And it gives you the basics of how you can start to feel good physically, mentally, and spiritually using your body, your mind, and your breath, and a really powerful affirmation. And it has actually pictures of physical poses that you can do, in addition to a brief tutorial on meditation and how to start meditating. So it's got a lot in it in a kind of a short little, maybe 25-page ebook,
Oh, wow.
but it's
Yeah.
been around for a long time and I'm very proud of it. And I offer it free for anybody who wants it.
Perfect. Wow,
Yeah.
that sounds like a great first step.
Yes.
So that is found on your website, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So
GiselleToner.com.
GiselleToner.com, just look in the show
Yes.
notes. You'll find the hyperlink to Giselle's
Mhm.
website
Yeah.
and be sure to grab that ebook.
Yeah.
And I am just so excited about the Giselle AI version. We know it's not, it can't be just like you, but it sounds like you have really done an amazing job of programming and utilizing the technology in a way that can really have such a broad reach. So that is
Yeah.
super exciting. Well, Giselle,
Yeah.
this has just been great. I've really enjoyed our conversation. And I just want to thank you so much for being a guest on my show today.
Well, Wendy, I have to thank you because I really appreciate what you're doing in the world. I mean, for you to be able to have your impact and your reach, it is really a blessing. And thank you so much for allowing me to share a little bit of myself with you and your audience. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Been my pleasure. All right.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Okay. Okay, bye.
All right. Well, the real life transformations facilitated by experts like my guest today are truly priceless. I mean, happiness, joy, peace, love, right? These are all what each of us ultimately strives for in life. But becoming a sought after and well paid coach or energy healer is often challenging, overwhelming, and frustrating. So, if you're a heart centered coach, expert, or energy healer who's striving for more ease, flow, and abundance, well, I've created a special gift just for you. So, check out the show notes. All right, well, this is Wendy Vaughn signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to join me for my next episode where we'll be inspired by yet another Impact Maker's journey.